Welcome to the ASUG News Studio. My name is Tom Whalegum. I am the co-editorial director of asugnews.com. Well, we're delighted to have in the studio Melanie Frinzell from Pacific Coast Building Products.
Thanks for having me.
We love to have you, and this is a very exciting topic. Looking forward to talking about it. You are
Yeah.
project manager there,
Yep, that's right.
and you were 15 minutes early for the session. So
Of course, as you would expect.
absolutely on time. Great. So you are delivering, or have you delivered yet your session?
That's tomorrow afternoon.
What time?
So at 1:45.
All right, so be there. So
Yeah.
her session is on the mobility pilot that Pacific Coast has run, and
Right.
we talked a little bit about the phone on the phone before, and it's a really interesting. Can you talk just a little bit about the genesis of the overall mobility strategy that Pacific Coast has done, and then we can
Sure.
get into all those great topics and what you guys actually did.
Yeah, absolutely. So we worked with a group of building materials executives and SAP customers across the world, really. And there's an advisory council, and they said, we really want to find out more about mobility, and created a mobility work group.
Mm-hmm.
So from that work group, we decided at Pacific Coast to have a pilot project, and we led that effort, and here we are today. We started that effort late last year,
Oh, wow.
so we're pretty excited at our progress.
And did you do it in conjunction with a bunch of others, or did it end up being just you? How did that work out?
We definitely worked with others. SAP and Sybase helped us, of course, with our mobility pilot. But primarily it was us and our thoughts and our ideas and our skilled people.
I think a lot of ASUG members, your fellow ASUG members, SAP customers are interested in mobility, but perhaps don't know where to get started. What do you think was the one thing that you guys did to enable you to get going down a right path? Was it partnering with SAP? Was it joining other collaborative efforts, or your genius and brilliance that you have? What was it, you think?
It was a good partnership with a lot of the other members of the council. Certainly, we had a lot of support from SAP. But we also really have a great leadership and a great team that really is excited about mobility, excited about learning new technologies, and we looked at it as an opportunity to just try it, see what it's about, see if it's something that we're interested in.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty. What did you actually do, and how did you do it?
So we had a pilot, and part of that pilot is just to learn how to do the technology. How do you actually get an iPad to connect to SAP? How do you make that connection?
Did you just make a connect and plug
Doesn't
in?
quite plug in
No.
right. So from that, we decided our business requirements were really going to be simple. It was going to be something that we've already done. So we have a dealer portal on our website for our direct customers, our wholesale customers. We wanted to take that functionality and mimic it so you can view it on the iPad.
Okay.
So that helped us narrow our scope down, which was great because the technical challenges were quite a few.
Right.
So each part of the process, we had a few stumbling blocks and challenges to overcome. So that led to us developing our app, mimicking that dealer portal for the iPad.
Now, and iPads and construction workers don't seemingly go together, but you obviously chose that for a reason.
Absolutely.
Why?
So for us, we love the beautiful interface, the large screen, being able to view some of our pictures. It's just this crisp image, the retina display, all of those great features, and just being able to have an easy to view screen that you can interact with without a small application that maybe you have to squint to view when you're out at a customer site. It looks a lot more impressive if you can step back and really show the customer what it is that you envision as their product. So our dealers are going to your house, designing a paving block wall, your driveway, things like that. They want to show you a good experience by showing you pictures and things like that, and that's a little bit more difficult to do on a smaller device.
So these aren't Pacific Coast employees, these are dealers.
Correct, yep,
So
they're our
that's
direct
interesting.
customer.
How did you get the buy-in, or how did that process work?
It was actually pretty easy. Our management team works really well together in that we have this app already online for our dealers. So putting it on the iPad was a really good entryway for us to see how this technology would work.
Sure.
So the management was definitely for it. They're pretty anxious about us getting out more applications and mobile environments. So we have a long list ready for us back at home.
I'm sure you do. So because the dealers were used to it, the internet application, was there much training you had to do for the iPad? I mean, obviously the iPad's simplicity is a very big selling point. Was there training you had to do?
I think one of the best parts about mobility is that you should almost need no training. You really should just have a device. It should be intuitive what you need to click. If it's a pinch zoom to see a picture, you really shouldn't have to have a whole training guide on how to interact with the basic app.
Right.
So that was our approach. It's very simple, very easy. The icons, the graphics are all very simple to touch. You can't mess anything up on the screen, so you feel free to interact with it as you want.
Have you been able to track the percentage of people using the traditional website dealer portal? iPad, have you seen differences? Have you seen, the iPad shoot up dramatically? Well, I guess it's new, so it would
Right.
shoot
Yeah.
up anyway, but I'm
So
curious.
right now it's just in our pilot stages.
Okay.
So we're using it mostly internally, but we hope to work out a few more features and enhancements and then work on releasing it out to the general public and a few select dealers and roll it out further from there. We also piloted SAP standard app, which is Timesheet.
Right.
And so we've started using that internally on our test environment, getting a feel if that's something that we would want to roll out to our employees.
Right. Now, we didn't talk too much about the back end technology work. Can you give us just a scope of what you had to do there and how you guys accomplished that? And did SAP help? How did that work?
Yeah, initially we thought, okay, you buy Sybase and wired platform, and this is what gets you to mobility. Well, that's part of it, but it doesn't get you all the way. So we worked with SAP pretty closely on getting not only Sybase and wired platform, but also Gateway installed. And then once we get Gateway installed, Gateway allows us to have SAP and other systems interact through our mobile app. But once we got there, we thought, great, now we have all of the components, we can go ahead. Well, depending on your application, you may also have to have different add-ons or other licensing arrangements, things like that. So that's really where SAP and Sybase helped us out, was trying to navigate those waters and those fine details on the technical side.
So those things that maybe you guys didn't think about at the start, and then
Right.
it starts to come up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we look at a standard timesheet app, for example. You get it for free on the App Store. We install it. We have all of the credentials, but then we have to install an add-on specific to that timesheet app on our back-end system.
Okay.
That's something we just didn't know about up front.
Right. But I think the thing is, if you sit in these SAP big sessions and it's mobility, mobility, mobility in apps,
Right.
and yet, we go to ASUG events and our CEO, Bridget Chambers, will say, how many people got a good handle on mobility? And like two hands will go up, and one of them's a partner, who does mobility.
Right.
Were you at all concerned about the risk going forward with the pilot? Or did you just think, that the benefits are going to weigh this? We want to do this eventually. We want to do it now. And how did you get the institutional buy-in for this, even though it was new?
Right. Well, mobility is coming, so we want to embrace it. We look at it as a challenge, and we're excited about it. So we really want to figure out the best practices, best approach. So it wasn't a question if we were going to go ahead with mobility. It was, how are we going to accomplish this? How are we going to drive forward, be a leader in this arena? We have some experience with a mobile application before. We have a safety app that can be accessed from a mobile device. But at the time of our pilot, we didn't have any experience with SUP or connecting it through Gateway, things like that. So that was all new to us. And most of the customers I talked to here at Sapphire it's new. It's new. It's challenging. So it's nice to see everybody at least trying it. We kind of had the attitude, we're going to go for it. We're going to see what it's like. We're not going to wait until everybody else has a leap forward on us.
Do you think this can be a competitive differentiator for your company?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I mean, you think about it, if you can get your salesperson or your customer better information, instant access, right where they do business, and so they come over to your house, they can show you a picture of exactly what your driveway is now going to look like.
Right.
You as a customer are going to be much more impressed, and you can visualize it. Seeing that picture is so key, and then you're going to be more likely to say, yes, that's exactly what I want. Let me sign on your iPad, electronic order, and we can fulfill that customer's order and go from there. So we do really look at it as a differentiator with our customers, and also internally. There's a lot of customers that we found that they're kind of chained to their desk, and there's an approval of a PO, a timesheet, any number of things waiting on the manager. When the manager may be in a conference, maybe out traveling, maybe out in the field, we want to enable those people to be untethered from their desktop. They can go out and do their jobs effectively wherever they are.
Right. Well, my last question, I'll let you go, is what would be your one piece of advice for your fellow ASUG members, SAP customers who are, where you maybe were a year ago, sitting there thinking we got to do something? What would be your advice for the first step?
First, I would definitely look at your mobility strategy. What are you trying to go for? Just your first step. What is it that you really want to go for? Is it a customer application, your internal employees, or even another partner? But from there, what's really important to remember is it's a learning curve. Right. It's not going to be the simple installation and application and development process. It's going to take a little bit of time, so just prepare yourselves. Staff that project, that pilot with the best resources you have, the ones that are excited to learn something new. But just remember, it'll be a learning curve, and really take your time to learn up front and partner with another SAP expert or another customer that's already done it before. Take that time to really understand that process, so then you're more confident in your successes in the future of developing your own app. That's what I'm saying.
It sounds like it's going to be a great session.
It is, yeah.
Look for it. I hope you have a great time here at the annual conference in Sapphire.
I will, thank you.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks.
For more videos, go to asugonline.com as well as asugnews.com. And thank you for watching.